Welcome back to Doak Campbell Stadium for our Season 2 spring game, where we are going to get to, for the first time, see the new-look Seminoles for Season 2. The big storyline going into this season is a four-way quarterback competition between Tate Rodemaker, AJ Duffy, Luke Kromenhoek, and Brock Glenn. Each of them are going to compete today, and I think a lot of the quarterback competition is going to come down to spring game play today. The man probably going into this game with the edge is Tate Rodemaker. He's the highest rated, and he's a redshirt senior and has a ton of experience, but it's really too close to call where I'm just looking to see who can play the best in game situations. Tate Rodemaker and Brock Glenn are going to man the Garnet team, and then Luke Kromenhoek and AJ Duffy are going to be manning the white team, and they will be alternating possessions in which they are the quarterback. So with that being said, we're going to get to see some new look faces. I'll try to catch you up on who all of our budding stars are, as we're going to get to see a ton of great action today. And it's going to get started with the Garnet team led by Tate Rodemaker and freshman running back Cam Davis in the backfield, as we get a great new look, as you'll see a lot of the playmakers are divided between the two teams and trying to give a pretty even game between the two sides, and we'll see how it all plays out. As we wait for this first snap from Rodemaker, it's a handoff to that freshman phenom Cameron Davis. That's 5 yards up the middle, and get very familiar with him, as he's going to be a big part of this running back rotation, and I think he's going to be a star in the making for the Florida State offense. Next snap on 2nd and 5 is a great blitz from Kevin Knowles, the DB who made a big strides in the offseason. He's probably going to be playing a lot of nickel for the Florida State Seminoles, and comes on a great rush and takes down Rodemaker for a sack, forcing a 3rd and 13 now, 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Rodemaker drops back and he fires to the sidelines, and he's off the mark. That forces a punt, and now the white team is going to be led by AJ Duffy, who has Damian Martinez in the backfield, the transfer from Oregon State. He'll get the fake handoff, and it's pitched out to Sam Singleton, the redshirt freshman, as he's taken down by KJ Kirkland, he's in his second year as well, as it's a little bit of a second year on second year crime with that hit. And now it's 2nd and 14 for the white team. AJ Duffy rolling out to the right, and he's going to try and throw it down the field, but doesn't quite have the arm strength, and that will fall harmlessly incomplete. It's a 3rd and 14 for the white team now. They're going to need to get past midfield if they want a first down to get that first down of the game. Duffy rolls out to the right. He's got some room, and the defender dives down and cannot get to him, as Duffy picks up 10, and now has a manageable 4th and 3 for the white team. He has a couple of running backs in the backfield with him, fakes the handoff to Martinez, but then fumbles the football, and it's Matthew Hill, the transfer from USF, who had a very productive season last year, and is going to be in the safety rotation for Florida State this year, as he brings a lot of experience and should hopefully be able to help this Florida State secondary reach their ultimate goals this season. But the next thing up is Brock Glenn, the redshirt freshman, getting his first snaps for the Garnet team, as he has Cam Davis in the backfield as well, and he'll get a carry to start this drive like he did last time, this time for 2 yards for the talented freshman. Brock Glenn again, this time a counter look to Davis. He tries to work to the outside, but only gets 3. But it is a 3rd manageable for the redshirt freshman. He sits back in the pocket and fires and hits Kentron Portier, who gets near the 30-yard line, and that'll be a first down, and the first down of the game is led for the Garnet team by Brock Glenn. He's now in the backfield again with Cam Davis, fakes the handoff to him, and Glenn tries to get away, but he'll only get a yard after pushing himself forward. And Glenn sets up a 2nd and 9 for the Garnet team, trying to show what he's learned after 1 year on campus. Rolls out to the right, tries to fire, and it's knocked away by the defender. And Brock Glenn and company are now going to have a 3rd and 9 that they're going to need to convert if they want to keep this drive alive. About 5:10 to go in this first quarter for the Florida State spring game, and fires again to Portier. Good jumping catch for him. He'll get near the 10-yard line after that 20-yard reception. And now Florida State is in business. They can still get a first down without scoring a touchdown, though. Cam Davis in the backfield again has Landon Thomas, the talented tight end, also in the backfield with him. Rolls out to the right, looking, scanning. He's got a lot of pressure on him. Throws off his back foot, and it's Landon Thomas into the end zone for a touchdown. Not officially his first career touchdown, but it is the first touchdown of the game by the talented freshman Landon Thomas at tight end, the number 1 tight end in the country, so make sure to remember his name. And it's a new kicker, Jake Weinberg, who is looking to take the kicking job this season. He'll put through the extra point, and now the white team is going to be led by one of the top quarterbacks in the country in the high school ranks last season, Luke Kromenhoek, leaving a 1st and 10 for the white team. He fires and hits Deuce Spann with an immediate bullet. Good looking ball out of his hands, 15 yards, and that's a first down for the white team. Dewspan had a pretty up and down season last year, not a lot of snaps, looking to make that change this year. Kromenhoek fakes off the handoff and gets 8 yards on that read option look, and he'll set up a 2nd and 2 in a nice manageable situation for his team. First handoff for Damian Martinez, the transfer from Oregon State who has got plenty of accolades, and the season he put up last season should give Florida State a lot of confidence with that 6.3 yards per rush and over 1,100 rushing yards. He's looking to stabilize this Florida State offense as they're looking for a new identity after a ton of transfers last year. We'll see how Damian Martinez fits into the equation. This time a handoff to Sam Singleton. He's a redshirt freshman who's got a lot of promise as well. He's got more speed than a lot of guys in that backfield, and we'll see him probably get a couple of carries to game to see if he can be a game breaker at that position. It's now a 2nd and 3 for the white team. Fires over the middle, and that's a little too out in front of Rondé Gatson, the transfer tight end. 3rd and 3 now for the white team. Still about 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, as it's been going pretty slow so far with a lot of incompletions, but that's to be expected in the spring game as Damian Martinez takes that carry for 6 yards and sets up a 1st and 10 for Kromenhoek, who it's LaWayne McCoy, the true freshman, a beautiful route, works in the middle of the field very nicely. 26 yards later, and it's a 1st down for the white team. Fakes the handoff, Kromenhoek gets knocked around though after a 3-yard loss at 2nd and 13. DJ Lundy in with a tackle for loss from the senior linebacker. 2:20 to go in this one, and Kromenhoek just throws it into the ground. It's a 3rd and 13 now. That's a very difficult conversion. He's going to roll out to the right, looking for anybody to open up, throws to the corner of the end zone, and is he in the end zone? It looks like they're going to wave it off before they're even going to give the touchdown sign. It's a pass interference from Preston Daniel. Don't even know what that's about, but anyways, that's going to keep the white team off the scoreboard and actually force a 3rd and 23. Daniel's even asking the official what that was even called for, so now Kromenhoek has a much more difficult conversion if he wants to get that first touchdown for the white team. He's thrown towards the end zone, and that's going to fall harmlessly to the ground as Matthew Hill had the deflection by that transfer DB. That will actually give the ball back now after field goal to the Garnet team, who is led by Tate Rodemaker again in this rotation, as everybody has had one time around with their offensive scheme, so we'll see how the Garnet team adjusts now with their second drive with Tate Rodemaker. 1st and 10, a lot of changes at the line by Tate, who should have a pretty good mastery of the offense by now. He's going to fake the handoff and roll to the right, see if he can find anybody, but he is taken down pretty roughly there. That's Kevin Knowles with his 2nd sack of the game, and from the nickel spot, that's pretty impressive as he's had a really nice spring. This time he throws a little off balance to Cam Davis, and he has to come back to the ball. That's only a 2-yard gain. 3rd and 16 now for the Garnet team. 55 seconds to go in this first quarter. Trying to find something deep, throws down the middle of the field, and it is knocked away. Good play. That was Taurus Jones. He is a transfer from James Madison, and he makes a nice play in space. That sets up the white team for their next drive as A.J. Duffy overshoots his target, and that sets up a 2nd and 10 for this white team drive. Duffy in the pocket, rolls out to the right again, wanting to use some of his mobility and show what he's got. He's going to fire over the middle of the field, and it's dropped by the true freshman Elijah Moore. This sets up a 3rd and 10. Fired this time to Johnny Wilson. Came back to school, debated going to the NFL, but wants to be the number 1 receiver this year, and worked over the middle of the field very nicely to set up a 1st down for the white team. Duffy in the pocket trying to hang back there, but gets lit up and taken down by C.J. Clark, transfer from North Carolina State. Big presence at defensive tackle. He's going to get a lot of snaps there, and a lot's going to be put on his shoulders. This time a screen pass can't find its target as Duffy is 1 for 5 now. After a 3rd and 20, big play for the white team. He fires to his left, hits a Rondé Gatson as he turns upfield. There's nobody there. That is a touchdown for the transfer tight end, a Rondé Gatson from Syracuse, one of the best tight ends in the country. And after Florida State was able to lure him here, they have got to use him and make sure to utilize those talents to the best of their abilities. Brock Glenn has the reins of the offense this time as he dumps it off to B.J. Gibson. He'll get 6 yards of that reception as it's a 2nd and 4 now for the Garnet team as they have moved the ball quite nicely with Brock Glenn under center as Mekhi Danzy gets that carry for 8 yards. He's a true freshman, speediest running back in that room, and we'll see if he's able to make an impact this season. Glenn fires this time to Elijah Badger. He is a transfer wide receiver from Arizona State, who had quite a productive season last year. 44 catches, 628 yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns in an offense that was not amazing, so being the number 2 option in this Florida State offense could be very beneficial to him. But this time, not a lot of benefit to Florida State as it's only a 1-yard push forward for Cam Davis as it sets up a very short 3rd and 1. Mekhi Danzy gets this carry. He'll pick up a first down. It's now 1st and 10 for the Garnet team from the 50-yard line. Trying to dump off the screen pass to Mekhi Danzy, and he can't cut up field for positive yardage. He'll be stopped for no gain. 2nd and 10, 7 minutes to go in the half. This is the first catch for Camden Fryer. He'll take a short one for 5 yards, and he sets up a 3rd and 5 after that reception. Camden Fryer is thought to be the most talented receiver they brought in the recruiting class and will definitely feature in the rotation of this year's Florida State offense, so get familiar with him. Glenn does not get anywhere on that option look. That 4th and 6 forces a punt, and now Florida State and the white team are going to be led by Luke Kromenhoek for his second drive as everybody's getting done with their second rotation. Sam Singleton tries to get some positive yardage, but fails in that endeavor as he loses 1 yard. It's now 2nd and 11 after Omar Graham gets the tackle for loss. Snap to Kromenhoek. He's rolling out to the right as per usual, and he's going to try and get some positive yards. Runs into his own man, but still able to get 8 yards. And sets up a manageable 3rd and 3 with his legs of that athleticism that is so coveted in this offense by Mike Norvell and team. Sam Singleton comes up a yard short, but they're going to hurry up to the line real quick, telling him where it's going to go again as Sam Singleton runs the same play, but able to get 4 yards in the first down on 4th and 1, as Luke Kromenhoek saw a nice opportunity to go quick, get the offense grooving, and get that first down of the drive and see if they can turn this into points. Rolling out, throwing, and hitting Elijah Moore after the drop earlier. He'll take a 17-yard gain, and that gives the white team their second first down of the drive. Kromenhoek rolling out to the right, trying to find anything, and he's going to try and turn up field for positive yardage, and that is a 3-yard gain for the white team. Luke Kromenhoek still trying to stay in control of the offense. It's a little scattered right now, but he's doing the best that he can, as this is Mekhi Danzy with the best run of the game for either team, 19 yards with a good burst from the track star, as he picks up a 1st and 10 for the white team with under 4 minutes to play in this first half. Play action fake from Kromenhoek. He's throwing deep, and it's picked off by Fentrell Cypress. He came back to school with a decision looming about the NFL and decided he wanted to give this another go, and he gets an interception in the spring game of the true freshman. Rodemaker back under center leading the Garnet team, and that's going to be an incomplete pass to set up a 2nd and 10 for this Florida State offense. Rodemaker getting some pressure, and that's thrown offline. And now they are facing the reality. If they can't get 10 yards, they're giving it right back to the white team. Gonna need to find something. Rodemaker rolling out, trying to throw deep, and it's broken up by the defender as the Florida State defense has been looking good and fast, making plays on the ball, and it's made a very difficult time for the opposing quarterbacks. A.J. Duffy now leading the white team. It's going to be an outside handoff to Damian Martinez. He can't find any real estate, and that's going to lead to a 2-yard loss for the Florida State offense. A.J. Duffy throwing into traffic. Not a good decision as Quindarius Jones deflects that one. That's a second-year player making a nice play, and it's what you're here in the spring game wanting to see is who's progressed, who's made those strides, as that's a nice play. This time a throw to Sam Singleton out of the backfield. He works his way all the way across the field for an 18-yard gain on the reception, and that's a good look for him as he gets a carry right after that. That's what you love to see. You go make a nice play in the passing game, we're going to give you a carry, you get some looks, and he's a weapon that I would expect Florida State to try and see what they have in that guy. 2nd and 7. This time he hits Elijah Moore. That's his 3rd catch for the true freshman who has had a kind of an up and down spring, but they want to see what they can use in a target who's that size and if Elijah Moore is going to be able to give anything to this offense. 2nd and 3 now after the rush by A.J. Duffy and the scramble. He's going to take a look to the right, rolling out that way, going to see if he's going to need to use his legs, and he's going to try and get the first down, and he pushes himself just forward enough to pick that first down up as they're in the red zone. Handoff to Damian Martinez. He's rolling up straight ahead. 11 yards later, that's a first down for the white team. 1st and goal. Minute 30 left. Trying to do a little bit of a jet sweep to Elijah Moore, but it ends up losing a yard now. 2nd and goal for the white team. Damian Martinez in the backfield. They're waiting the snap, seeing what the next play holds in store for them. Going to be a pass play, actually. Stays in the pocket, and Elijah Moore drops it at the goal line. So we've seen some nice catches and some drops by Elijah Moore, and not exactly what you want to see early on in someone's career, but plenty of time as Damian Martinez gets in the end zone as the transfer running back puts his claim on this game and puts the white team up 17-7. Brock Glenn taking the Garnet team now, taking the helm again. He'll have his third drive. He's rolling out to the right on his 2nd and 10, and he gets hit as he throws, and it sets up a 3rd and 10, and they're in danger of giving the bright ball right back to the white team if they can't find a conversion. Hit as he throws, and he finds Elijah Badger on a beautiful throw. That will give the Garnet team a brand new set of downs. They're down 17-7. They would love some points after halftime in a spring game that has been quite competitive so far, but especially by the defenses locking it down. That's Azareye'h Thomas with the pass deflection. Sets up a 2nd and 10. Here's the screen pass, and Elijah Badger probably should have just dropped it, but that catch will actually cost them a yard as it's 3rd and 10. Fires down the middle of the field. There's Landon Thomas, the talented true freshman tight end, the top tight end in the country last season, as it's going to lead to a hurry-up offense from Florida State, trying to get to the line really quick with Brock Glenn. He has been the best-looking quarterback so far, which is kind of surprising, but some quarterbacks are just better in game situations, and Brock Glenn is taking the opportunity very seriously so far, dumping it off to Camden Fryer for 5 yards as we're under 30 seconds to go. Timeout that led to this play now. 2nd and 5. Here comes Brock Glenn. He'll scramble and run out of bounds. He's probably the least fleet of foot of all the quarterbacks, but a nice timely scramble to set up 1st and 10. Fires and hits Camden Fryer. He'll get a 13-yard reception, and Florida State gets back to the line, trying to make something happen quick. 1st and goal, under 10 seconds to play. Trying to find something, throws to the end zone, and it's just out of reach of Elijah Badger. 2nd and goal, 5 seconds to go. Might be the last play of the half. Drifting back, firing to the corner of the end zone, and it's broken up, and that is the last play of the half. The Garnet team will get no more chances at the end zone. The white team holds strong, and they have a 17-7 lead, and it's been quite a competitive half. And I would expect things to kind of look the same going forward. The defense looks much more ahead of the offense so far, but we'll see if these quarterbacks have anything to say about it in the second half. And Elijah Moore starts the second half with a drop, and Luke Kromenhoek tries to encourage him, but you can tell the confidence is waning a little bit early on in Elijah Moore's career. Handoff to Damian Martinez, gets 9 yards and sets up a 3rd and 1. He'll get the carry once again, as you would expect. If he's running good, Florida State needs to ride the hot hand of Damian Martinez when they actually get to real game situations, but it's nice to see Damian Martinez putting his head down, getting the hard yards. Firing to the left is Kromenhoek. He hits Johnny Wilson. That's about a 20-yard gain. He pump faked to the right, then came back to his left and hit a beautiful throw to Johnny. He's been mixed in pretty sparingly so far in the spring game, but just letting him run a few routes, get the work in today, and he's doing a great job. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Kromenhoek rolling to the right, throws and hits Johnny Wilson for a 2nd consecutive catch, and he fumbles before he can get down. And inside the 30-yard line, that will be a recovery from the Garnet team. Tate Rodemaker and company now have the football. Cam Davis running hard up the middle. That'll be a 6-yard gain, 2nd and 4 for Rodemaker and the Garnets. He throws off to the right. Elijah Badger again loses yardage with a reception. Probably just needs to start batting those down, but stays in it. Firing to the left is Rodemaker, and he's way off on that throw that was intended for Camden Fryer. And Tate Rodemaker has definitely looked quite shaky so far, but, it only takes one drive to turn around that perception. Here comes Duffy for the next play of his drive, and he fumbles immediately, recovered by Tafase. That is 4 turnovers for the white team. It has been a kind of a miracle that they're only up by 10 after having the 4 turnovers, but here's the Garnet team trying to finally capitalize on one of those 4 turnovers. After an 8-yard reception, Glenn finds Cam Davis out of the backfield for a 3-yard reception, sets up a 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. Handoff to Davis. He works back to the middle of the field. He'll get about 3 yards, and that'll set up a 2nd and goal from about the 3 or the 4. Glenn hit as he throws, but finds a true freshman in B.J. Gibson. Nice catch in traffic. He has been a receiver that's kind of been forgotten about in the recruiting class, but has shown there that he can make a tough catch in the red zone, and definitely getting some congratulations on the sidelines. We see the highly touted true freshman Luke Kromenhoek getting this drive, and he dumps it off to Sam Singleton, who's had a nice game in both the running game and the receiving game. Those 10 yards will give the white team a new set of downs. Damian Martinez gets this carry up the middle, 2 yards for the Oregon State transfer. 2nd and 8, 3 guys out to the right, unbalanced look for the white team. Kromenhoek trying to stay in the pocket, works back to the left, fires to the left, and it's almost picked off by Ashlyn Barker. the redshirt sophomore safety. He was almost able to get a pick on the true freshman, but it's going to fall harmlessly to the ground, and he throws it in traffic again, and it was almost another true freshman getting him there. Jamari Howard knocks that one down, and that gives the ball back to the Garnet team as Tate Rodemaker hands it off to Camden Fryer, who sweeps around for a 7-yard gain, and Camden Fryer has had a really nice game, just kind of doing what's asked of him in the offense, and it's Rodney Hill this time getting a 1-yard rush. He's somebody that kind of came on at the end of last year, and he's kind of been held out of a lot of practices this preseason, so he's trying to get himself into football shape, and he said he was going to have a few carries later on in the game, not a full workload for the Garnet team. They're going to hit Elijah Badger with this beautiful corner throw. That'll get them all the way down to about the 20-yard line after the best throw of the game from Tate Rodemaker, and now they are back in scoring position, only down by 3. Handoff to Rodney Hill, who's been getting some good love on this drive, and he's trying to work forward, but still loses a yard as he tried to stumble a little bit, and now it's 2nd and 11 for the Garnet team. Tate Rodemaker trying to get his first touchdown drive of the game for this team. He fires and hits Preston Daniel, the not very often used tight end, works to the middle of the field nicely, provides himself as a good target, and now it's a manageable 3rd down, 3rd and 2. Handoff to Rodney Hill. He's been getting a lot of love on this drive, and he's able to power forward for 4 yards, and it's a 1st and goal for the Garnet team. Thrown out to the left, there's Elijah Badger making a man miss. He gets to the corner of the end zone, and the Arizona State transfer is able to make his big splash, as our transfers have had a very nice impact in the spring game, showing where their value is, and now the white team faces their first deficit of the game, down 21-17. Handoff now to the white team's leading rusher, Damian Martinez. He has 5 yards, and that's a 2nd and 5 for A.J. Duffy and company. Minute 25 to go. Good throw to Elijah Moore. He's able to secure that catch after a couple of very untimely drops, but trying to get that confidence back. Nothing more confidence building than Damian Martinez stumbling forward for 10 yards. He looks very in control in this offense, and I would expect him to get a ton of carries this season. This ball is lofted out to the right. Can't quite find his target as Greedy Vance knocks it away. And now the white team and A.J. Duffy face a 2nd and 10. Man in motion is Johnny Wilson. Very weird to see the 6'7" receiver getting in motion there, but it worked enough to open up a lane for Damian Martinez as they only have inches to go on 3rd and inches. Sam Singleton cannot get that 1 inch, and now it's a 4th and inches that the white team is going to face. That was C.J. Clark getting the tackle for loss. They'll end up just kicking the field goal, and it's a 21-20 game. Brock Glenn staying back in the pocket, trying to find his receiver, and B.J. Gibson drops the ball on the sideline after a beautiful throw from Brock Glenn, but he's going to get back to it with a carry for Cam Davis, who's going to get 8 yards and set up a manageable 3rd and 2 for the Garnet offense. 8.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Cam Davis is able to get 3 yards when he needs to, and that's all you need to do to get that new set of downs. 1st down for the Garnet team. Brock Glenn making a couple of checks at the line, seeing what kind of changes he needs to make, trying to find the right throw, rolls out to the right, and he finds Cam Davis opening up right at the last second. Those 10 yards will get another set of downs as Cam Davis has had a nice game in his debut, even showing some value in the receiving game. Here's Brock Glenn off play action. He's throwing to the sidelines. Beautiful ball to Landon Thomas. He's not had a ton of catches, but some really nice routes and finding open space. 3 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. It's a very nice way to set an impression if you're Landon Thomas. 1st down, 7.5 minutes to go. Glenn rolls to the right, fires to the end zone, and that's Camden Fryer. Well deserved for the true freshman who's been doing a lot of dirty work and finally gets free on a route where he was able to cut the seam up the middle. Beautiful route, and now the Garnet team is up by 8, and it is the true freshman Luke Kromenhoek who's going to have to try and lead the team down for a tying score with 7.5 minutes to go. Luke Kromenhoek going to scroll down and get down with it after 7 yards as a 2nd and 3 is set up. Handoff to Damian Martinez. It doesn't have to be that difficult. You just have to run a very simple offense, scrambling when you can and then using Damian Martinez for those tough yards. Doesn't get a lot harder than that. Elijah Moore goes and dumps it off, or gets the dump off for 10 yards on the screen pass as he's recovered for some nice catches after some drops earlier on in the game. 1st and 10 now for the white team. Play action for Kromenhoek, and he is brought down. Big blitz came there. That was Ayobami Tafase from the defensive tackle position. He was able to blow up the interior offensive lineman. He'll get the sack for a loss of 5 yards on Kromenhoek. He's now facing a 2nd and 15 on a gotta-have-it kind of drive. Play action for him. He's going to have some pressure around him, trying to throw it deep, and he cannot get it over the DB's head. That was Greedy Vance getting his second deflection of the game. 3rd and 15, he fires and hits Sam Singleton. He'll pick up 11 yards, but they needed 15, and now it's a very crucial 4th and 4. Can Luke Kromenhoek find a big throw in him, looking and firing, and it looks like it bounced off Elijah Moore's hands, a guy who has had a really tough day. And now the ball goes back to the Garnet team, and Tate Rodemaker is probably thinking about making this the last possession of the day, seeing if he can end it with a very nice impression and just salt the rest of this game away. Cam Davis, he gets a carry up the middle for 5 yards. Then on 2nd and 5, fires and hits Elijah Badger, who's had quite a few receptions today and has been very active in the pass game, and a good start for him. Then they're going to have a screen pass to Davis as he runs right upfield, makes the turn around the corner for a 6-yard gain when it looked like he was going to lose some yardage. Under 4 minutes to play. 2nd and 4. Handoff to Rodney Hill. He's trying to find some space, but it's not all there, and he only gets 1 yard. It's 3rd and 3, trying to get off the field, but Rodney Hill runs over Daryl Jackson as he hit the ground pretty hard, and that sets up a 4th and inches. Garnet team doesn't get it. The white team will have a chance to tie this game with A.J. Duffy, but Davis is able to roll off of a defender, and he picks up the first down with that hard run. 2:20 to go. Rodemaker rolls out to the right, trying to find anything he can, and he's just going to have to take the hit to stay in bounds. The white team takes another timeout to stop the clock. Handoff again to Cam Davis. He finds a nice hole. He gets almost 11 yards, and it's going to set up a 3rd and inches. If the Garnet team converts here, it'll probably end the game, and that's Cam Davis just getting enough. And that does set up the victory for the Garnet team. They come away with a victory in this one. Brock Glenn, beautiful day for him. Much better than we could have ever expected out of Brock Glenn. Probably came into this competition running 4th, but had a really nice game today. So let's talk quarterbacks a little bit. Tate Rodemaker did not look good. Brock Glenn, though, I was pretty impressed, and he has definitely given me something to think about. In the running game, Cam Davis did a lot. I leaned a lot on him. Rodney Hill, I kind of knew what he already was about, so that's kind of why you'll see the 15 carries for Cam Davis. He's a true freshman. I wanted to see him in action, see how he looked, and I think he fit the part. Then the other person I wanted involved in the offense was Elijah Badger, the transfer receiver. I think he showed up very nicely, and Camden Fryer as well. Both guys getting touchdowns, getting about 10, 11 yards per catch, really working nicely in the offense, and I think they're going to fit in nicely once we have the full team together and they're not split up like we saw in this game. Then on the defensive side for the Garnet team, I think there were quite a few guys that made plays for that defense. It was the white team that showed out a little more, but we had the Fentrell Cypress pick, and then CJ Clark at defensive tackle was a big enforcer, as well as Ayobami Tafase. He had a sack as well, and quite a few tackles for loss for Omar Graham, a guy who's kind of been forgotten in that linebacker rotation for me that I kind of was surprised when he showed up, where I was like, oh, I forgot that guy was on the team. So then on the white team, you see Torres Jones had a nice sack, and he had a pass deflection. Kevin Knowles obviously was the big star on the white team side. Coming from the nickel back spot and getting those big plays was huge. And then for the receiving side on the white team, Elijah Moore's 4 drops obviously stand out. There weren't a whole lot of offensive explosive plays for that team. When you have somebody who's dropping the ball 4 times, it's a tough look. I probably should have tried to get LaWayne McCoy more involved, but you know, when you split a team like this, it can be tough. And then when you look at their numbers, A.J. Duffy was not who I liked playing with, I'll be very honest, and I think the numbers show that. But Luke Kromenhoek, I'm kind of thinking it's between him and Brock Glenn. He was very mobile, and I think this offense is going to need a mobile quarterback, and he seemed fast, and I liked throwing with him, and I think if there weren't as many drops, the numbers would have looked better for him. And then Damian Martinez was everything that was advertised, a nice power back that really seemed to fit well with the offense and is making me very encouraged. So I really do want to say thank you for tuning in. If you wanted to watch a Season 2 spring game for a 10-year-old video game, is really awesome, and I hope you guys are enjoying the series. I'm trying to keep things fresh and do different things. I know you don't usually see a lot of spring games after Season 1, but I didn't get to do one in Season 1. I was kind of already on the road and had a different plan in mind, but I wanted to do one for Season 2, and I figured out how to do it with these rosters, and it's something I want to keep on doing in the future because it was nice to get a look at these guys, and especially with a quarterback competition looming. I will be announcing in our Season 2 preseason episode who the starting quarterback is going to be, so definitely tune in for that. That'll be the next video. We'll get the setup of what our schedule is, what some other teams are looking like, what our recruiting plan is, what the recruits interested in us look like, kind of the whole landscape of Season 2 and what we're being set up for. So it's definitely going to be an action-packed episode, and then we will have the first game of the season after that. So you'll definitely want to keep tuning in, and as always, I appreciate all the support for anybody who's enjoying things. Definitely like and subscribe if you're really enjoying the content. It means a lot getting to see anybody who is enjoying the content, and as always, go Noles!